guys, my name is Kay Shantae. Hi, it's your girl Kay Shantae, and I am here. It's your girl Kay. What's going on, everybody? So I just literally got back from watching the movie M3GAN. If you all know, it came out this month in January. And I literally just came back from the movie theater with my sister, from seeing M3GAN. So I wanted to do a review on it and share how I felt about it. So let's get into it. So, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, I would say save your coins and wait till it come on Fire Stick. Honestly, let me start with this. Overall, I really didn't like. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it, but it's just, I don't know. It's like it was missing something for me. Like it wasn't enough. To me, it was kind of too quick. Like the movie went too fast, too quick. So for me, it's like, overall, it wasn't bad. I like where they were going with the story. I like how, the story was told, but I just feel like it was just too quick, too choppy. Just catch that shit on Fire Stick if you can. So first off, you got this little girl. She loses her parents in a car wreck. They were going up to the mountains and a snow truck ended up hitting them and the parents ended up dying. And the little girl ended up being rushed to the hospital and she was treated. Her mother's sister, which is her aunt, took her in and became her guardian immediately, right after the whole incident. So the aunt is a woman that's single. She doesn't have kids. She's career driven. Her house isn't really set up for a child, but she takes her niece in because what else is she supposed to do? So automatically you see the dynamic between the niece and the aunt is very off. Like she didn't really have a close relationship with her niece because it was just kind of an awkward relationship between the two. So yeah, so then that happens and then you have a therapist coming in to make sure like, hey, since you are her guardian, do you have a nice setup for her to live in? Is it safe for her? Going back to the beginning, the aunt is introduced as a career-driven single woman and her career is making toys for children. The irony of that. She doesn't have kids, from what it seems, she doesn't want kids, and doesn't know how to act around a child, doesn't know how to entertain her niece as she's come to live with her, but she's in the industry, in the career of making toys for children. So we're introduced to her job. She has a team of people that is trying to work on this robotic toy that basically takes up a lot of like a friend to the child. The protege ends up exploding in the lab as she's trying to show her boss like, hey, look what I came up with. I think this will be the next best thing. So they're trying to come up with something new for children. So the protege ends up exploding and the boss is mad. So he's going off. So then the aunt goes home, which is Gemma. Gemma is her name. So the aunt goes home and starts working on the protege behind closed doors. Now, she already has built a robotic toy, as I should say, already. And it's in her house, and she shows her niece. The niece catches her working. And already you can kind of just tell, like, Gemma is not really paying the niece any attention. She's just work, work, work. She didn't even feed the little girl. She fed her some toast for breakfast and then didn't even feed the little girl. So you could just see in this scene, they're trying to, like, give off the impression like, this is not really a good fit. It just seems like the little girl is in Gemma's way. Her niece is in her way, but what can she do? As the little girl comes in on her working, she's already built a prototype. And so, she's trying to work on this new prototype and she's getting the idea like, hey, I don't have no toys for this little girl. She didn't even want the child touching her collectibles. Like, she was really, like, on it. Like, don't touch this, don't do that. And I can kind of relate a little bit because it's like, the way, if you buy nice things in your home, it's kind of like when kids do come over, it's like, okay, don't touch this, don't break this, don't do that, don't do that. So I get that. I get it. I understood that. So then we come to M3GAN. So they get the prototype built. They really didn't troubleshoot like they should have. And that's where it went wrong already. Even in the beginning, it was going wrong. So they get it built. They pick out her wig. They pick out her skin tone. They pick out her outfit, her and her team at the lab where she worked. They have her niece as like, okay, well, you have to link the toy to a child. And the toy is supposed to be able to do all of these things and helping the child, you know, well, the child can do this, the child can do that. And at first, her niece is like kind of scary a little bit. But then it's like the niece opens up, the girl opens up to M3GAN. They make a connection. So they are playing in this little playhouse area that's in the lab that's set up for them to see how is this thing going to react. So it hits off and it's good. Like, homegirl is up on her game with her English. She's talking like a regular person. She's playing with her. She's doing all of this and that. And Gemma was able to set this up to be able to do all of these things. Which, that's the Easter egg. That was the Easter egg little hint, because it's like, okay, girl, you are doing all of this, but you're not realizing her. So at first, this seems like an awesome idea. Like, okay, yes, I ain't got to do none of this. Like, just how the aunt looking at it. She like, oh, I ain't got to do none of this. I ain't got to read her no bedtime stories. I ain't got to really fool with her. M3GAN gonna do all of that. And so what it sets the tone for is attachment issues, which kids struggle with. Like, when losing a great deal of something, like losing somebody important as your parents, they're looking for the next attachment, because you have attachment with your parents. They're with you every day. They do everything for you. So losing your parents, the therapist was describing like this, I don't think this is a good idea for her, because now she's going to be heavily attached to this person, and she's not even a person, she's a robot. And then you've set this robot up to learn and pick up so much and take in so much information. It's scary, because it's like, what happens when it goes south and when it goes wrong? And that's exactly what ended up happening. And the aunt is just kind of dismissive, because it's like, okay, well, I don't have time for this little girl. So M3GAN doing all of this for her and with her, that takes a lot of stress off of me. So she's not looking at it. She's not seeing it. So then they try to talk about having the little girl go to like an alternative school with other children so she could be around other kids. You know, the aunt takes the little girl there. The little girl is showing out, honey. She don't want to leave M3GAN behind. She don't want to be separated from M3GAN. And it's the same episode of what we see in little children when it's like their first time going to school, or when their first time spending the night at somebody's house. A kid cuts up and throws a tantrum because they have that separation anxiety. So, and that's exactly what this little girl did. She threw a fit when it was time to be released from M3GAN. So M3GAN comes to the alternative school. She's sitting up in the toy area with the other kids' toys. And the teacher comes to get the little girl and is like, okay, come on, we're going to play, introduce ourselves. And she's like, the auntie Jenna can stay and help make sandwiches and keep an eye on things, just because it's like, okay, you have this robotic toy, what the hell's going on? So they start playing, and the little girl gets teamed up with, the little girl ends up getting teamed up with this mannish little boy that's, you know, he's a lot bigger than the other kids, and you can tell he's struggling with some behavior issues. So he gets teamed up with her. They go in the woods. They're supposed to be finding acorns, pecans, nuts, whatever you want to call it. So they're supposed to be finding that. So then the little boy ends up like messing with the little girl, end up like pricking her hand with something very spiky and sharp that they end up picking up off the ground. So automatically the little boy is just being obnoxious and mean for no reason. M3GAN done got off the toy table and done followed them people into the woods. So you don't sit up there, and you ain't even supposed to be back here, but you done got back here. So now she's keeping an eye watching what's going on. She's seeing the little boy be mean. So the little boy goes up to M3GAN and wants to play with M3GAN. But in the beginning, you know, she has to pair with you to only play with you. She's not supposed to be able to play with other kids. It's only for that certain individual, the user. So the little girl wasn't saying nothing, wasn't playing with the little boy. But as the story was going on, going back, M3GAN is watching everything. She picking up on stuff. She's looking at stuff. She's listening. So she's learning these capabilities of a human. So going back to the issue in the woods, the little boy is hitting on M3GAN, like tossing her around. He done took off running with the little thing. Child, she done woke up from the dead and done ripped his ear off. She talking shit to him, ripped his ear off. and done sat there and chased him out to the street and then got that little boy ran over. And then cocky about it. Like, Megan is cocky about it. And so it's like, oh shit, this little girl is on some BS. Like, she killed the dog. So let's go back. The neighbors, Gemma, the aunt, had an issue with her neighbor, with the dog and with the neighbor spraying stuff. She had a hole in her fence. So when the lady would spray stuff and had her dog around, the dog was getting through the hole in the fence. So going back to that, it was already conflict with this dog. Megan done snuck out in the middle of the night and done killed the damn dog. Then killed the dog is missing. So the police already was coming around. Megan done killed the dog. Then she done turned around and killed this little boy. Then she elevates to kill the damn neighbor because the neighbor was upset and pissed and was talking shit like, dog, she's going off. She done called the police. So mind you, Megan done picked up on that, watching and hearing that. She was really like a child, just nosy as hell. So she done picked up on that. She goes and kills the neighbor. The police out there deep now. So the police is like, okay, we just talked to you a couple weeks ago or a week ago about the little boy getting hit. Then turn around, your neighbor's dead. She was complaining about her dog not being found. So what's going on around here? So the aunt is like, oh shit, could it be Megan? Like, the aunt already up on game because she know what she created. So then she go to the lab and was like, y'all, I think this shit it's done fucked up. It's messed up. So they like, no, you wrong. Ain't no way that this dog could do that. And she like, yes, I think it can. You know what I'm saying? Like, she knows what she put into this toy and made this toy to be like. So she like, yes, it can. So then we get to, she separates Megan completely from the little girl. The little girl throws a fit. She ends up tearing shit up in the playhouse. She's going off on the therapist. She done picked up a sharp item, the scissors. Then turn around, she done smacked the aunt. Child, she done smacked the aunt. Ooh, she done smacked her. So the aunt like, okay, let's calm down. And the aunt is starting to realize like, oh shit, I haven't really gave a fuck about your feelings. I haven't really been talking to you. And that's what a lot of you adults be doing. Like, y'all don't take time up with your kids. Y'all be so wrapped up in everyday life. You have to stop and think, this is a human being. This is a child that you brought into this world. Or maybe you ended up with custody some other way. But you have to take time with children to get to know what they like. Talk to them to find out what's going on. How do you feel? What are you thinking? All of that is important. And this aunt, Jenna, did not do that. She was not able to just connect on an emotional level. It was just very business to her. Like, I'm taking my niece in because it's business. Like, she didn't really give a fuck about how this little girl felt or what she was going through, losing her parents. And so they had a heart-to-heart moment in that moment of her smacking the hell out of her. And so I guess the little girl just smacked the hell out of her, done smacked some sense into her. So now she's talking right. So all of that happened. So mind you, going back, let's rewind. Going back, honey, they ready to release this toy because, mind you, when she first got Megan up and going and they showed her boss how Megan was interacting with her niece, the boss is like green lighting, like, let's put this thing out. So they have greenlit this toy to be on the market and be released. So fast forwarding up to now, when she separates Megan from the little girl throws a fit. They trying to plan a release and they're trying to, like, they're in a crunch because it's like, oh shit, we done created something that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, we done created something that could possibly be harmful and dangerous. And honey, did they not find that out? So fast forwarding to the night of, when all the shit is out the bag, they got the stuff set up to release it to the public. They've already released a video. So now Megan going around killing motherfuckers. She's trying to off people in the lab. She killed the boss. She killed another little guy that had something to do with leaking, like trying to leak the company information. She going ham. She done got in the car and drove to the aunt house, Gemma house. Child, her and Jimmy getting into a knockout, drag out, and she barely wins because the little girl ends up waking up and hearing them fighting. Basically, this thing done turned on the person that invented it. She ends up turning on Gemma. So she's fighting for her life. The little girl out there trying to help her. They activate this other robot. What was that robot's name? I gotta think of the other robot's name that she had invented. They end up activating him to destroy M3GAN. Honey, M3GAN's so powerful and strong, they done ripped her into two. The bitch still going. She's still up and going. And we fast forward to the end. Like I said, this movie is very quick and fast paced. So we ended up at the end where, okay, the police done been called. They think that they have disabled M3GAN, but not quite. So the protege body of M3GAN is destroyed, but somehow or another they have linked, like the woman had like an Alexa. Gemma, the aunt, had an Alexa in her house. And so she ends up, M3GAN ends up, I guess, like tapping into that and controlling that to where they think they've killed M3GAN, but really the little Alexa thingy, I think it was called Ellie, the little Ellie Alexa thing ends up like blinking on and off as if to say like, bitch, I'm here still. Like M3GAN let them know I'm here still, but they were all outside of the house. So it kind of set up for like a part 2, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a part 2. Now my overall, that's the movie in a whole, in a gist. It was okay. It was some funny scenes in it. It was funny. It's not really scary. It's kind of thriller. It's not a scary movie. It's like jumpy scenes, like, okay, jumping and stuff like that. But it's not scary at all. It's just kind of thriller. It's a dog killing people. Overall, I would give it a maybe like a 7, 6 or 7. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm gonna give it about a 6 or 7. It was alright. It was okay, but if you haven't got a chance to look at it, go check it out. Go to the movie theater if you want to, or either go watch it on Fire Stick if you can pull it up on Fire Stick. But it was okay. It was a 6 to 7, so it wasn't bad. But yeah, that was my overall opinion of it. You know, go check it out. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.